All right. Good morning, Senior Home Business family. How you guys doing today? It's Wednesday. Brittany and Matt are here talking about entrepreneurship today. I know we talk about senior placement all the time, but we like to kind of sprinkle in every now and then some entrepreneurship. And today we're going to kind of be real and raw with you about how to start a business, but also just kind of some things to look for if you are ready to become an entrepreneur. And the reason I say ready is that there was a period of time, Brittany, in my life from 2008 to 2018 that I really wanted to do something and I could not put my finger on it. I just I couldn't identify anything, or I'd hear about something, get excited about, and then it just would evaporate after 2 or 3 weeks. I wouldn't put a whole lot of effort into it. And I always made a ton of excuses as to why I can't be an entrepreneur. And we're going to go through those particular fears and concerns and limiting beliefs today. And I want you to understand today that if you truly want to be an entrepreneur, it's within you to do this, you will do it. And you just need to take the steps in the right direction. But 2018 is when I fully became an entrepreneur. So I don't know how old I was then, Brittany. I'm 56 now. So whatever that is, 48, 49, whatever. You were much younger when you became an entrepreneur. I'm so proud of you. I wish I had done what you're doing now when I was in my 20s. And but you took a leap of faith, I think, when you're around 22, something like that.
20, yeah, right at 23. So
23. Yeah. Okay, so 23 took a leap of faith, and you've been a tremendous success in what you're doing as a senior placement agent, and got a full team, and it's just amazing all what you're doing. I didn't have a clue when I was in my 20s. I was early, probably 23. I was married, probably 2 kids, and I know I was flat broke. I know my bank account said negative a lot, more than I care to remember, but no longer, thank goodness. And if you guys, real quick, before we get into it, if you're kind of hearing a little bit of sadness in me or not as energetic, I apologize. My best friend, my puppy, passed away last Friday unexpectedly and tragically, and it just it really sucks. So if you kind of hear that in my voice, I know some of you guys. I've talked to Brittany over the years. I just talked to somebody just yesterday. They're like, man, I love your passion, love your energy on just bringing it. And today I don't think I'm going to bring it as strong because it just kind of weighs on me. And I know he's just a dog. I get that. But I tell you what, man, he was my buddy. He slept with us at night. Brittany, I told you off camera, might be gross, but he would come up and drink out of my glass, and we share moments with each other and just play. He was always with me, my little shadow, my little sidekick. So when he passed away last Friday, it really, really broke my heart. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about the truth about fear, faith, and finally betting on yourself. And that's what I would encourage each and every one of us out there that's listening, is you have to get to the place where you bet on yourself. Too many people trust maybe the company they work for. They're putting their trust and faith in others. I know I did that for the longest time. I've had the opportunity, Brittany, over the years to work with 2 multimillionaires, and they were self-made. They didn't inherit the money. They made it. They were both flat broke, and they got to multimillionaire status. But back then, I reflect now, there's probably most of that time, I just put my trust in them, and their talents and what they can do. But you guys can bet on yourself, and it is the best bet you possibly can do, is to say, you know what, man, I've got this. And you might not have all the answers. When I started in 2018, and maybe Brittany, I can't speak for, I'll let you bounce it to you in a second about your experience, but I didn't have all the answers when I started in 2018. I just had an idea, somewhat of a plan, and a whole lot of energy to get going, and just started moving. And I don't even know if I took all the right steps. I just started moving. And that's what it takes sometimes. So when you started, Brittany, what was kind of your, well, let me ask you a twofold question. What was the moment you kind of felt like, hey, I really want to be an entrepreneur? And then what did you do first to get going?
I don't really know if I'm trying to remember if I had like a click, like a light switch moment where I said I want to be an entrepreneur. I think for me, actually, it was more so because it was very industry specific. I knew what I wanted to do. And I don't know if I focused more so on the entrepreneurship part of it or not. Luckily, I have entrepreneurs all in my family. My dad is one for 30 years. So I did have that background, but like picturing myself as an entrepreneur, I don't know if I ever had that moment. Luckily, I mean, I really knew what I wanted to do, and I knew that I wanted to have like my brand, my business. And so I don't know. I know that's not a good answer, but I don't know if I ever had that. I want to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to help seniors, and I knew I wanted to own my own business doing it. I just don't know if I looked at myself as an entrepreneur. But actually, you are the reason that I got started.
Oh,
That is when I had done some initial research, and I had found you actually to help with my business. I had kind of launched, but not really. But I think you and the course and getting educated on what this industry was about is where that flipped for me.
well, man, I got an echo going over here. You hear that echo?
No.
Oh, I hear an echo on my side. Sorry, guys. But yeah, just talking about the course, I'm so glad the course encouraged you to get the business going. And fast forward, you guys, Brittany and I did a course last year together called the Senior Placement Institute. So if you know more about that, you can click the link down below. But it's hopefully that will touch your heart and get you going as well. But I think the first thing we need to do, Brittany, is just recognize the calling. It's not just a dream. So you might not have said, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, but you want to be a business owner. Your dad was an entrepreneur for 30 plus years. You had it kind of in your family. I didn't have it in my family at all. I mean, my mom and dad were W-2 employees all their lives. That's what I was up until 2018. It's all I was exposed to. I didn't really have a clue about what was going on. But, you know, there's going to be something within you that's you want to do. And it's not just a dream. It is who you are. And whether you call it a calling or whether you call it something else, doesn't really matter. But it's just something within you. You're like, I really, really want to do this. And whatever this is, man, that dotted line, write it in there. I want to do this. And I would encourage you guys to set out to do that, right? Don't say, I'm going to try to do it. And I heard this from Myron Golden. This is not one of my things, but I heard from Myron Golden a couple of weeks ago, and he said this, and it resonated within me. He says, man, he said, I can't stand when people say I'm trying to do something. He said, everything within me just cringes. He says, no such thing as I'm trying to do it. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. You're either doing it and it's working, or you're doing it and it's not working, or you're just not doing it. So get to the place where you are doing it, right? And here's what I would encourage you to do. Pay attention to what keeps tugging at you. And I think that's what happened to you, Brittany, right? When the whole senior living industry, you didn't really think so much about being an entrepreneur, but you thought about, I want to start a business for seniors. And something was tugging at you, right? And so the idea won't leave your mind. It's usually connected to your assignment. It's usually connected to who you are, what you want to be for the rest of your life. And it's something that's going to cause you to eat, sleep, and breathe that business. Like there's nothing I have to do to motivate myself to get out of bed in the morning, to start doing what I'm doing, because I've got a purpose behind it. It's my calling. And I just get out of bed and I start doing it. I mean, I listen to motivational tapes. I just mentioned Myron Golden. I listen to different things. I read books. I go to, not as many today, but I've gone to conferences and talked to people and participated in coaching and all that. But I don't need any of that to get going. And I want to speak to the audience right now. If you've got something within you and it excites you at that level, pursue it. Don't ask. The dumbest question I asked for years from that 10-year period of time, 2008 to 2018, is I would think of an idea, then I go, but how am I going to do it? How? And then I start rationalizing. I start talking myself out of it. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I don't have the talent. I don't have the time. Don't do that, man. Pursue it. But Brittany, I mean, what do you think about that? That began to tug at your heart for senior living.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah, it's something that I just knew that I wanted to do, and it wasn't going away. I didn't have a lot of incubation time, if you want to call it. I kind of just went for it. So I didn't let it tug too much.
I like that.
Yeah. I definitely just went for it. To your comment earlier, like I didn't have it all figured out, and I'm still learning today with even a successful 2 agencies. So I didn't have that big tugging period, but I just had almost like a movement in me that I knew I wanted to help seniors, and this was the way I was going to do it. So no matter what you're looking at into, okay, you want to do this. How are you going to do it? Not all the things against you, all the negative, like I don't have the money, I don't have this, I don't have that, or, what if it doesn't work? The real question is, what if it does?
Yeah, absolutely. I told you off air that, since my dog passed away, we're going to do a Kobe brand. It's called a Kobe Buddy. And it's going to be all over the world, mechanical and all this kind of stuff, right? Well, I was sharing with and I won't say who it is because you may listen to my video here, but it's a relative of mine, family member, very close to, I've known for all my life, shared that with him. And his immediate question was, what if no one buys it? I don't care if no one buys it. It's not the how. It's not like, okay, I want to make sure people are going to buy it, so I'm going to create it. And if they don't buy it, I'm going to stop. Guess what? I made a commitment that I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep on going. No one buys it, I'm just going to keep on making them. And I'm just going to keep on making them. And then if no one buys it, like online, or I can't get a manufacturer or anything like that, and I bore you with all the details, I'm going to set up a booth up here in Clovis where I live when farmers market is going on, and I'm going to be selling all of them. That's the kind of passion. I think of Brittany, you and I talked before, and I've mentioned on this channel several times. I can't recall the guy's name for saving my life for some reason, but a guy started Starbucks. He went to like 248 banks. Can you imagine that? He got no after no after no after no. It went to like 248 banks or somewhere around there, 220, 230, 240. It was well above 200. I'm telling you, if it was me, Brittany, I told you this, I would go to maybe 10. I would go to the Wells Fargos, the Chase, those kind of banks, the mainline banks. And then I would go to some hard money lenders. I got up to about 10 and I got 10 no's. And as much as I think I'm kind of resilient in these areas and fairly good in some areas, I would have stopped at 10. I guarantee it. There's no way in the world I would have got to 20. I definitely wouldn't have got to 100, 200 people. Can you imagine what people were telling this guy when he got 50 no's, 100 no's? You're living a pipe dream, man. Nobody's going to spend $5 for coffee. My granddad would roll over in his grave, think he's going to spend $5 for coffee. He spent probably 50 cents at Dunkin' Donuts for coffee. And if he was alive today and saw people lining up at Starbucks to buy $5 plus coffees, he'd be like, these people are literally, what's wrong with these people? And so, but he had a dream, right? So I want to tell you, stop labeling your dream as crazy. Your dream is not crazy. It's awesome. Whether it's become a senior placement agent, whether it's start another business, whatever it may be, it's not crazy. What seems unrealistic to others is often divine direction to you. There's people, when I started my business as senior placement agent, not many that I heard, maybe many of them thought it, I have no idea, but a couple of them communicated to me, man, really? That's what you're going to do? They doubted, but see, it wasn't their dream. What's your dream? And you need to get around the people that support your dream, that support you, that want the best for you, not for what if they don't like it, who cares? So if they don't like my Kobe Buddy deal, I don't care. I told you, Brittany, and I'm doing a thing for seniors. I won't go in great detail because it hasn't been released, but a coffee additive. And if people don't like it, I don't care. I'm doing it because within me, it's my purpose. It's my calling. What's your purpose? What's your calling, right? And then, Brittany, I want you to talk about this, though, but I really believe we all get to a place at some point in our lives that we just can't shake the thing, man. We just can't shake it, meaning like we just don't feel like we're rising up to our full potential unless we do this one thing, right? And if you can't shake it, you're meant to shape it. I love that. That's not my exact quote. That's not my quote. I actually stole that from somebody. I don't know who it is, but I like the way that went. If you can't shake it, you're meant to shape it. Woo! I love that. What do you think, Brittany?
I agree. I feel like if it's something that you're not feeling, even like fulfillment, like if you're feeling like this is just something that just keeps nudging at you, you don't feel fulfilled, you feel like you have more potential, or you can change things, or like you said, not stay within like the reins of other people's opinion, what people have done in the past, and you're switching it up or whatever that is, to just jump in, like be fulfilled. Don't let that, take it as a sign to move forward with it and move forward immediately. I say don't wait.
Don't wait. There's too many people. You know how many people I talk to, Brittany, on a daily basis? It literally happened just the other day. Again, people were like, I've been thinking about this business for 6 months. I had somebody the other day, about 3 days ago, tell me, I've been watching you for a year and I'm still strongly considering doing this. You know what my advice to that person was? Either do it or don't do it. Why are you torturing yourself for a whole year thinking about what you could be doing? Why are you kind of in this purgatory area? Like you want this thing, but you're not going to pursue it. So either pursue it or don't, right?
Agreed. Yeah. I think there's a chance where we always say, like, that's a year that they have been waiting where they didn't get a chance to start their business and help seniors in our industry. That's a year that they have put off of actually building a business. If they can only, me looking back at my journey, a year was a long time. A year was a ton of movement in my business. I think the first year is one of the toughest for sure. But the difference between a year can make in general and anything in life is a huge difference. So they just waited a whole year, haven't moved yet, and nothing's changed. At the end of the day, the time's still going to go by, whether you start it or you don't.
Definitely. I've said this several times on this channel, and there's a reason why I'm going to say it again, is that one of my earliest videos, I talked about my only goal was make $5,000 in this business because I was making around $75,000 a year with a bonus with that AL community. Well, you do the math on that, you can kind of figure out what I'm making per month, right? Well, in 7 years, to your point, like things can change in a year. Things can change in 7. They can change in 10. I mean, you can change the whole trajectory of your business, the whole trajectory of your life in just a short period of time if you get laser focused on doing what you need to do. I give an example, with my puppy, there's a wallpaper on my phone, looks just like that. And so anyway, so my wife and my puppy, we're getting a lady who I've known for probably 40 plus years. We went to school together, and she does paintings on canvases and things like that. And she's not cheap by no means. I don't want cheap. I mean, I've told you guys this before. Sometimes when you talk to people, that there's certain people that want it on the cheap. I don't want it on the cheap. And she told me after we talked, she goes, Matt, you know, I'm not cheap. And I said, I don't want it to be cheap. Matter of fact, I want to pay more than what you actually charge to pay it. So it's going to be an 18 by 24 over there. Then I'm going to pay probably the equivalent to a 2-week salary I used to have. And that's all within 7 years. I don't say it to brag. I just say that to bring it to your attention that things can change, but you got to make movement. And people just think that, okay, well, I'll just keep thinking about it. And like I did, I don't blame you. I was in that purgatory state for 10 years. And I think I didn't help myself one bit by doing any of that. I just kept thinking about what could be. Oh my gosh, if I would just do this, or maybe I could do that. And, and just kind of get focused on what moves you, right? And so I want you to, number 2, reprogram your beliefs. You're not too late. You're not too broke, and you're not underqualified. Okay. So you're not too late. I know if I started in my late 40s, 48, 49, whatever it was in 2018, kind of lose track of time because, Brittany, I think I'm turning 57 next month, I think. Maybe it's 47. No, it's not. It's 57. So you start losing track. You want to keep time. But anyway, you're not too late, and you're definitely not too early. Brittany started when she was 23, which is amazing. You're not too broke. I won't ask you specifically, Brittany, put you on the spot, where you were financially, but I know where I was. I was still at the place of somewhat living paycheck to paycheck at that point. Now, I had worse times 3 years before that where I really was broke and living paycheck to paycheck. I think in 2018, I was doing a little bit better, but not a whole lot. It was very tight, but you're not too broke. And those are the two things people kind of go about. They go, I'm just too late in life. Think of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, billionaire, right? One of the richest persons in the whole world. Didn't start really accumulating a lot of wealth until after 50. Take Colonel Sanders with KFC and chicken. It's amazing. The guy was like, I know he's retirement age, so somewhere around 69, 70, early 70s, something like that. And the only thing the guy had was a recipe. And he went to about 1,000 people to sell his recipe to, or not even really sell it. He's just like, hey, I'll give it to you. I just want a percentage of whatever you sell for the rest of the time you use my recipe. And he had like 999 no's. Am I going to hear a lot of no's about the Colby Buddy? Absolutely. A lot of no's about the coffee additive? Absolutely. Are you going to hear a lot of no's when you start your business? Is that all you're thinking about is the no's? Or are you thinking about the yeses and what life's going to be like when you start pursuing your dream and you start achieving all what you want to achieve? It's going to be amazing. But so you're not too late. You're not too broke, right? So Brittany, I think some people just need to rewrite their story. Instead of saying I can't because, start asking how can I? I think at 23 years of age, you had a big edge on where I was. And I think you were probably asking that question, how can I? Is that true?
Yeah, I don't think I focused too much. I mean, there's no doubt about it, starting a business at that age, especially in the industry that we're in. I was probably the youngest, more than 20 years, and most of my colleagues that I met throughout my journey. But yeah, I was just asking, how can I? I took every no as an opportunity to get a yes. Fortunately, we have a good industry where we don't get a ton of no's, where we usually don't have to go through 400 or 900 no's to get one yes.
Amen.
Thank God. Good benefit about our industry. But yeah, I just focused on the positive. How can I move forward? How can I get better? How can I stand out? Whatever that looked like. And I didn't focus on I can't. I definitely, to kind of piggyback off what you said, I was not, able to go build an assisted living by any means by the financial situation that I was in. I wasn't in a bad one, but I had just graduated college, 2 years prior to starting my business. So I was a new grad and was working for an entrepreneur, and I definitely had some future in that, but it made more sense to go this route. But I definitely just I kind of mapped out what can I do. Obviously you were a huge help in this journey, and just how can I keep growing, and even to this day, because as you know, just because when you start, there's more that comes with it. Like instead of saying, I can't grow, or I can't do this, or I can't add a team, it's how can I? So I focused on that a lot. I don't remember. I mean, I wish I could. I feel like I can't remember. Yeah. I know that I beat myself up. I think the main thing that I really took to heart was trying to be perfect when I first started, like trying to people please everybody and being so young in the industry. That's where I kind of beat myself up on how can I be better? How can I be the best?
I think you've told me this before. You probably had some reservations in the area of your age.
Yeah.
And people thinking that you were too young. Because a lot of people in this industry are probably like me, a little bit older, and and you probably had some struggles in that area, I guess, and you overcame them, right? I would think, looking back on it, you overcame those areas because that wasn't, even though you might have said, okay, that might be an obstacle, but you didn't focus on that. You focused on your destination, what you were going to achieve, not I'm Brittany, 23, too young. People are going to look at me as inexperienced and, not know what I'm doing. You started to improve your skill set and to get to the level where they started recognizing, oh, this girl really knows what she's doing. It's amazing. So, and just proofs in the pudding, all the seniors you have helped throughout the years. But you know what? Fear disguises itself as logic, right? When you start hearing be realistic, that's often fear dressed in responsibility. So, be careful, again, talking about your dream. I think you should have, your communication with yourself needs to improve if it's not at the place you want it to be. And there's a lot of people that beat themselves up in certain areas or look down upon themselves. They think they can't do it, and then they start sharing their dream with the wrong people. And that's usually where people say, hey, just be realistic. I don't know what you're trying to prove, man. Come on. You know where you're from, right? I think I've shared this before with my dad. He used to say a lot of times, Brittany, up until probably 4 years ago. He hasn't said it since because I kind of shut it down, but I heard all my life. Whenever something bad would happen, my dad would always go, well, son, what's your last name? The connotation there is, okay, your last name is Stafford. So something's bound to happen bad. Something is bound to be negative in the situation because that's your last name. We've come to expect that. And I told my dad about 4 years ago. So I remember I had a Camaro at the time, and something just hit me because I don't adhere to that at all. And not a disrespect for my dad. I love my dad, but I told my dad, and he goes, well, son, what's your last name? I said, man, it's Stafford. It means blessed. It means an overcomer. It means victorious. Now I started going all these different names. He's like, what? And he did that like a couple more times. And he hasn't done it since because he kind of shut it down. But you don't need confidence before you start. You gain confidence by starting. I think that's a misnomer and something that I learned in 2018 that I didn't have in that 10-year period of dry spell, from '08 to 2018. I feel like, man, do I have the confidence? Do I have it all what I need to do to start? Well, you gain the confidence and you gain a lot of additional skill set, a lot of resources and connections just simply by starting. So if you're listening to us today about a business, and if you're thinking about senior placement business too, man, here's your starting line. Okay, this is the first thing you need to do. Click the link down below and listen to the webinar. Doesn't cost you a dime. Do that. If you're thinking about starting another business, don't have a clue how to do it, go buy a book. Go get on somebody else's YouTube channel and listen to what they're doing. Somebody you follow it, admire, or know they're being successful in the area, but start learning. And then as you're learning, do it. Don't keep learning and learning. I've had these people in my life, Brittany, that are just like, and I'm a strong proponent of education, firm believer in everybody needs to be educated. But I've had at least a handful of people over time that they're like lifelong students. They never do anything. They just keep going to school. 65 years of age, hadn't done a thing in life, but going to school. I'm not going back to school to relearn something. No, not going back to school because you'd have to. No, they're still in school. And they haven't done anything. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, it's like, it's time to get off the starting block and get going. Okay. So number 3, start where you are. Use what's in your hands. And Brittany, you did just that. You got our course at the time. But then you started utilizing your skill set. I don't know how you put it together in terms of maybe you can kind of speak to this. Like, the course is one thing, and you got the knowledge from how to do the business, but then you also had to internalize this thing, like make it your own, and your own personality came out, right? It's like people can talk about a certain subject and certain thing, and then somebody else can talk about it and it sounds completely different, because it's them. So with you, I mean, starting your business, did you find it to be very difficult, or did you kind of lean into it with your personality? And talk a little bit about that.
I don't think I found it. I mean, it wasn't easy, like peasy by any means. It wasn't just like a smooth breeze, but I don't think I felt that it was difficult from a standpoint of just getting out there and doing it. I think the main thing that I was doing was just using the resources that I had. Like, I mean, we talk about the minimal stuff. Like, I went and got a Wix website for, $50 or whatever. So I just
did. Oh, shoot. The Wix website.
Yeah, Wix website, business cards off Vistaprint, whatever it was. So I just used the resources that I had. And as I began to keep building, that's where I did build the confidence and kind of find my lane on what I want my business to be, what personality that I want to shine through, how I want to help people. So I kind of just used that to build on as I went. It definitely, again, wasn't easy and just no objections throughout the time, but I felt like it was organically growing as I was growing. So I felt like my business and myself were growing at a very similar pace. We talk about this all the time on and off camera, that I was not only growing my business, but I was growing myself. I was learning a lot of life lessons, of industry related stuff, and just outside of being just an entrepreneur in general. It's a lot of learning curve and being able to get to that point. So I just took it with what it was, and I just kind of let it go organically. And I worked really hard, of course, and just kept going at it every single day. Consistency breeds, confidence, and it just breeds your business and who you are.
Absolutely. And momentum beats perfection, right? Done today is better than perfect next year. And I think I had a little bit of that in me too, in terms of wanting that, being perfect. Like I wanted something just to be just right. And that just right mentality held me back for 10 years. That just right mentality before I start prevented me from starting for 10 years. And so get some momentum, man. Get Mo on your side. We talk get Mo on your side, but that's like a basketball thing. I used to be a high school basketball coach for about 10 years. And man, it's something about getting Mo on your bench, meaning like, man, everything's going your way. You're getting the fouls on the other team. You're getting every loose ball, every shot you're throwing up's going in. You got to get the momentum going on. And when you don't have momentum, call a timeout and regroup as the other team, right? So with you, and not just you specifically, but the audience, man, get some momentum. And when you don't have momentum, call a timeout, think about it for a little bit, and keep going. Notice when the players come out of the huddle after timeout, the game's not over. They go back on the court and start doing it again. And what they're doing is they're ultimately trying to regain momentum. And so with us in business, if momentum starts to fade, starts to slack a little bit, call time out, have a time of reflection, have a time of a come to Jesus moment, get by yourself, think about why you're doing what you're doing, not so much how, but why. Get a burning, insatiable desire to move forward, regain that momentum, go get a couple wins, and boom, you're back on into it again, right? So I love that. And number 4, Brittany, we need to surround ourselves with believers, not doubters. Have you ever been able to do that in your life in terms of surrounding yourself with the right people? I know in my own life, real quickly before you answer, I've got some people around me that are believers, and then I had people around me that were doubters. Notice I said had. When they're doubters, doesn't mean I don't say hi to them. Doesn't mean I won't receive their phone call. But dude, I'm not hanging out with you if you're a doubter. If you're not a person, and I say faith loosely here, I'm not talking about just faith in Jesus, but I'm talking about faith in general. If you're not a person that really believes in accomplishing goals, and you're not a driven person, you're not a person that really, wants to move the ball down the field, and you're just a believer, like when you hear me talk about something, you go, man, you can do that. That's what I do to other people. I was talking to the guy that details my car every week last week. I said, hey, how's it going? He said, man, it's going great. He said, but I really want to expand my business more in the residential area. I've got a fleet of cars and doing certain things. And Grant, this guy's 23, Brittany, just like you were, killing it at 23. I mean, dude, he just bought himself a new trailer. I mean, I'm thinking, dude, he's light years ahead of me when I was 23. But I got talking, I said, how you going to expand your residential business? He goes, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure that out. He said, I might do flyers. I might do whatever. And I said, well, do the flyer thing. How do you think that would work? I don't know. Let me tell you how to do it. Take a picture of my car, put my name and number on it, and say, I've been working with this guy for 2+ years. He loves it. Here's his car, detailed inside out. Satisfied customer. Go get the lady around the corner that you go to in my same neighborhood, put her car on there, her name with her permission, do all that, and then go pass it out to 100 homes. Out of 100 homes, 20% of the people might call them. 10% of the people might call them. I don't know. Let's just say 20%. 20% call them. Then 20% will probably say, come wash my car. 4 people might take 100 100 flyers to get 4 people. Or it might take 100 flyers to get 1. Start doing the math. I said, whatever the math is, then you can take this and duplicate it in another affluent area. And I say affluent because he's washing cars at $100 a pop. So it's not going to be me 10 years ago, flat broke, and you're coming to me to wash my car every week for $100. Dude, that ain't happening. So, but go to people like that, and you get that formula going on. But surround yourself with believers. Like, if I wasn't a believer and I was a doubter, he would share this with me. I'd be like, flyers don't work, man. That's dumb. Yeah, you're doing all right, man. You got a fleet of cars. Don't worry about it. Just be content where you are. You ever had those people? Just be content where you are. You made enough money. What are you trying to prove? Dude, get away from those people. And they could be family members. Again, I don't mean disassociated with it. I don't mean, ban them from being family. But I mean, you cannot be around those people. Your environment is everything. My environment with my wife and the people I hang around with escalate my business. It promotes it to new levels. I was just sharing Brittany, the Colby Buddy idea with one of my daughter-in-law. She was just over here. She's taking my wife to an appointment. And I got sharing with her, and she just lit up. She goes, "Oh, that's so wonderful, man! I can't wait to see his face and the stuffed animal mechanic all over the world. I just can't wait to see people's smiles because of Colby." She didn't say, "How are you going to do it? Where are you going to get the money? Who's going to manufacture it?" But none of that. She embraced the whole idea. That's the people I hang around with. So, Brittany, talk about that, the importance of being around believers and not doubters.
Yeah, they say that the people you surround yourself with in general in life is a big impact on how you go about life, on your goals, and how you operate in general. For me personally, I had a lot of doubters. Again, I was 23. People thought I was crazy. I had no offense if he's ever listening, but my old boss in senior living had actually said and told everyone behind my back that I was starting a tax scam. So there has been and honestly, even my own family had doubts. And a lot of even my close friends at that time. Now, again, they're not all my close friends to this day. So Usually, not saying outgrow people, but just get into a different lane than some of your friends and family and just keep them in a distance and things along those lines. So I've definitely kind of spaced myself out for those people and have gotten into rooms with similar people. I surround myself with people that have similar goals and similar outlooks. And when I share ideas with them, they're all on board. I even watched who I've hired on my team and making sure that they have that same mindset of growth and just opportunity and where we want to go as a company and as well as people. So that's huge. But yeah, if you surround yourself with doubters and they're constantly giving you negative or what if or how, and not supporting you in your ideas, you will start to believe those things. You will start to say, well, yeah, they're right. How? Or, oh, that's crazy. Or, oh, that's silly. But I'll give a piece of advice too. What I have found is my doubters in the beginning have actually even asked if I'm hiring years later.
Love it.
So it came full circle. I have also seen in the beginning, there's a lot more doubters than when they see you being successful. You'll see that change in attitude and change of, I don't know, whole demeanor around you completely changes when they see success.
Boy, that's full circle, Brittany. Your doubters are like, what are you doing? Don't believe in you. It's not going to work. And now they're coming around going, are you hiring?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
My own family has done that. So and even works in a medical office with seniors. Like I've seen the whole circle go around. So
nice. And ultimately you need to audit your circle, right? Who's speaking to your life, dreamers and doubters. Community creates confidence, right? When you see others doing it, your mind starts believing you can do it too, right? So that's kind of what Brittany just described in terms of what, they doubted her, maybe just doubted the concept or doubted the business or whatever they were doubting. And then when they start seeing Brittany become successful, then they were like, okay, I'm seeing her do it. Oh man. Okay. Maybe I can do it too. Do you have a job or are you hiring? Something like that. So you want to get around people like that. But hey, number 5.
Can I piggyback off that really quick?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
So that is something with our community here in senior home business. That is the really cool and neat thing about when our community comes together and our students see other students being successful. They feed off of each other. They say, well, if somebody in Tennessee and Nashville can do it, so can I in California, and they collaborate and we collaborate as a team. So this is one thing specific to senior placement and entrepreneurship is that we see each other thriving and succeeding and we piggyback off that and it just creates more confidence in us.
Oh, definitely. And I tell you, we had a TSL partner meeting last night and I won't mention the person's name, such a sweetheart of an individual. So if you're hearing this, I'm talking about you. I think highly of you. I think you're amazing. But she did consider, because she just started recently and she didn't know much about the business. She's owned businesses before and she began to second guess herself about doing this business and, does TSL work? Does the business work? All those kind of things. And just last week, she got a full-blown TSL lead and is getting ready to translate into a move-in. And she said last night, she goes, I'm scared to death. She goes, I didn't know what to say, whatever. And it's just, getting around others. And I think because she kept coming to the meetings and hearing other success, to your point, Brittany, it's like getting the right room, because just because it's not working at the time for you, like for me, there's plenty of times where I've tried things and it just didn't work, but I got around other people that it was working. So it's like, maybe I need to refine what I say. I need to include something else or whatever it may be, but you start kind of getting clues of what other people are doing. And maybe I'm just not doing it the correct way. And so I just, she was one of many that had testimonies last night about TSL. And I just wanted to, I don't want to say her name, but she's really a sweetheart of an individual. And I'm so glad she had the courage to stay in, even though she just started. But it's obvious. I mean, with anyone, if you don't experience a certain level of success, whatever that is that you want to achieve, you're going to maybe second guess yourself. Maybe I should do something else. And then you're not only going to have doubters around you, but then you're going to be a doubter. And when you have doubters around you and you are a doubter, you are doomed to fail. No doubt. Oh man, no doubt. There you go. So, but you got to get rid of the doubters. But and you and with us personally, we've got to be at a place of faith. So you need to step into your destiny. Take imperfect action. You'll never feel ready. I'm telling you, whether you'll be a senior placement agent or something else, you'll never feel ready. Do it anyway. There's plenty of people I talked to just yesterday. Don't feel ready. I had this one guy, he's in Colorado, talked to yesterday, super excited about the business. But even during the call, he started talking himself out of it. He started to say, well, he's got a couple businesses. He does taxes for everybody coming up. Tax season's coming up. I said, dude, tax season's coming up. Dude, it's October. You're already thinking about, you could already had his business going. And I started talking through some different things. And then another excuse came up. And you start talking yourself out of it. And I'm not bagging him. I did the same thing. I'm just telling you, that is an unfulfilling life. Matt Stafford, me, 2008, 2018, always talking myself out of it. I was a doubter of myself. It's one thing to be a doubter of maybe, you're questioning something that's not maybe the best thing for you. But when you start doubting your own abilities, you start doubting your own sense of, your mindset or whatever it may be, it's bad. So you need to do that. So faith is movement, right? If you're going to, life requires faith, regardless how you define faith. It is a movement, and you got to believe that you are going into your destiny, but you got to take action. The door appears that weren't visible from the couch. The 10 years I was just sitting there dormant on the couch watching TV or going outside to think about something, get excited about something, hear about something, but never take action. That's not a movement. And it required zero faith on my part. And it required zero hurt from other people, because I never had to tell anybody I'm going to start this thing and then it didn't work. And that's some of your fear out there, is that you want to start something so badly, but some of you got your, you're wrapped up into someone else, that if you're afraid to go tell them you're going to start something because maybe you've tried 2 or 3 other things and it didn't work, or you just don't want to face that defeat. It's not defeat. It's a life lesson that you've learned and moved forward. So, Brittany, courage isn't the absence of fear, right? It's deciding fear won't drive. And I want people on this channel to take action, whatever it is. Be a senior placement agent. You can always drop down, watch the webinar, do all the links down below. But if it's something else, do it. It is, I'm a firm believer today that I'd rather start something, and if I fall flat on my face and I get better from it, and I'll end up doing something else or improve the very thing that I failed at. But you'll never improve if you don't start. Going back to the basketball thing, as a former athlete, only in high school, so I didn't go to college or play professional sports, but only high school. But I only got better as I went to practice and played games. And I failed a lot, threw a lot of interceptions, got hurt, didn't perform as well as I should, a lot of different things. That's just life. And I got better as I did that. And I want you guys to do better as you make that commitment. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys today. Brittany, thank you so much. I really honor you for who you are. And I'm so excited for people like you at a young age. And I say young age now. I know you're getting older by the minute too. You're 29, so you're not old by no means. But you probably feel like, okay, I'm not a kid, Matt. But man, at 23, that's so remarkable. The level of faith that took to start your business. Like the guy that does my car, he's 23 now. So he must have started when he was 20, 21, just doing cars. And he's built his business to, I think a very successful business. And, but you're not too young. And if you're like me in your late 40s, going in your 50s, you're not too old. Just make a decision today to do what you want to do. It'll be the best decision you've ever made. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys today. Until next time, God bless.